Connection is the energy that's created between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. And that's what we all want. We want to know that we matter, that we make a difference.
Hey everyone, it's Jenn Foster here with Elite Expert Insider Podcast. We're really excited today because we have Tonya Herb here with us. And when she's not paddleboarding, she is coaching, and her transformative coaching enables women to step into their power and lead with confidence and live authentically. We're really excited to have her here because she's going to help us to break down limiting beliefs, to conquer our overthinking, our perfectionism, and people pleasing, and empowering. And she's going to help us to build the life that we were meant to live. So welcome, Tonya.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be a coach.
You know, it's been a lifelong journey, actually. I didn't expect to be a coach. I really didn't expect to be. In my early years, in my 17 and 18-year-old self, I was going to be a teacher because that's what my parents were. They were in the school districts, and my dad was an educator. My mom worked in the school district, and so it just seemed natural to me. And I did a little part-time stint at my mom's school right after I graduated high school. And I worked with a special kid. He was a struggle bus. And through a lot of events that happened during that year, I recognized that I wasn't in the right space. But I still had this desire to teach. And it's taken me 40 years to get here. So, and all along the journey, what really stood out to me was just that I found myself in places where I was leading others or taking charge. And I started to learn that I didn't really have the skills to do that. Leadership is not something you're just handed, or sometimes you are just handed it or given a title or promoted or what have you. And because you're really good at something, you're an expert at it. You're really, really good at it. So someone is going to promote you, and you get into this leadership position and you think you're going to continue to do that thing really, really well. What you're supposed to be doing now is teaching others how to do that. And there is a skill set that goes with that I didn't have. And so as I started to evolve and create my own self-development journey just to be a better version of who I was, right? And just expand those skills and learn what I didn't know. And it doesn't come in a handbook, I'm just going to tell you. It comes with having mentors and coaches and people that will give you direct and constructive feedback and hold that space for you while you learn. Anyways, as I was developing and I started down that path of self-development, I started to recognize changes in myself, and others around me started to notice that as well. And I had people coming to me asking if I could help them XYZ or ABC or get from A to B. And that's literally how it started. I have a gentleman by the name of Richard, who was my very first non-paying client, but client, if you will. He came to me and he said, I really want you to teach me, to help me. And he calls himself my first pancake. and it started from there. And that was probably about 6 or so years ago. Gosh, has it gone that fast? and I started doing more of that. And what I recognized is that when I was helping others in that capacity, I loved watching people light up and being able to hold space for them as they were creating their own journey and moving through some of the muck and the mud and the hard stuff. And it's just so beautiful to be able to be on the other side of that. So I decided, I want to do more of this. And I was in corporate at the time and had this kind of as a side gig. And I said, I think I'm going to step back from leadership. I want to spend more time with the team. And when I did that, they were like, we love that for you. That is exactly the space you're in, but we can't afford to pay you right at the capacity unless you're holding the space, right? And so that made sense. So I had made a choice of what I wanted to do, and then I transitioned out, and here I am. And so that's literally how I got here. I know that was a long story,
Yeah.
long way around.
No, it's great. Well, and I love that you said that everyone needs a mentor or a coach
Mm-hmm.
because, I feel like I've gotten to where I am today because of the mentors and coaches that I've listened to. And it wasn't just me like trying to motivate myself or me like, trying to get through something on my own. It's a big team effort. And
Mm-hmm.
having coaches and mentors in your life that can help you and train you and keep you going along the path that you want it, that you're seeking really helps because
Yes.
like I always say, success leaves clues. So why are we trying to reinvent the wheel, right? Like, let's learn from
Exactly.
people.
That's exactly right. And you know what? Much to your point, as far as like that development side, one of the biggest lessons I learned was when I went down to when I started, I was consuming content and information and podcasts and books and constant. I had a constant earbud in. I was in my car listening. I was working out listening. I was doing housework listening. I was consuming all of this information, and it wasn't moving the needle. It was
Mhm.
great to have it spin in my brain because it was taking place of some of the negative self-talk, because we need
Mhm.
that interruption, that pattern interrupt. But
Mhm.
what was missing was the execution, which is where the
Yeah.
mentors and the coaches came in. Is I
Mhm.
needed someone to go, okay, that's great. Now what are you going to do about it? What are the
Yeah.
next
What
steps?
action?
Yes,
Yep.
action. And
Mhm.
nothing beats taking steps. Even if they're the wrong direction, you're moving, and that creates momentum, and you get to realize quicker, huh, this is not the right direction. I just need to pivot.
I love that. Well, I think I get into the overthinking, like I need to be perfect kind of mentality. How do you overcome
Oh
that? How do you
gosh.
overcome like the constant in your brain going
Yeah.
over and over? Like,
Yeah.
what do you do?
Oh my goodness. That is such a good question. And the reason I talk about overthinking, people pleasing, perfectionism, and it's so much isn't because I've perfected it. It's because I need to continually talk about it to remind myself that, yes, I'm overthinking right now, or why am I putting so much weight on that? So the question is,
Mhm.
how do we move past that? The awareness,
Mhm.
first of all. And the first
Yeah.
space that you really start to recognize is I'm not going anywhere. I'm on the same spin cycle I've been on for days or weeks. I don't. Why am I here? Right? And you start asking yourself questions. So you get to put your own self coaching hat on, which is one of the concepts or the formulas that I teach is a self coaching model, and that's the thing that helps me get out of my head and into action. It doesn't. I can't always do it on my own. Sometimes I
Yeah.
have to reach out, and a lot of times I have to reach out and say, "Hey, I am stuck," and
Mhm.
be okay with being imperfect, because the only way you're going to move from this space is to be honest and vulnerable about where you're at right now.
Mhm. I love that.
How do you move past it? What do you have any examples of how you've worked through that?
Yeah, I think similar to what you were saying, like you have to recognize it first because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times I'll just keep overthinking and go in that cycle. Like you said, you just keep on spinning until you recognize, oh, okay, wait, I need to stop right here and realize,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm overthinking this and I just need to step back and then take action and move forward, move past it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you talk about a bike concept, B.I.K.E.
Yes.
And that is is that like a acronym for something that
Mm-hmm.
contributes to like some type of leadership? Tell us about your bike
It
concept.
it is. It Okay, so for those of you who are just listening, I'll paint the picture for you. I have a bicycle on the wall behind me. And it's not a full-size bike. It is a piece of art. It's a little metal piece of art. And that bike, when I was in corporate, my last corporate job, I was out on a sales call with one of our financial reps, and we were visiting a store that they sold fireplaces, but they also had housewares inside, like things like this bicycle. And
Mhm.
they were just unpacking a bunch of, what do you call it, with a stuff to put in the store.
Yeah.
Whatever it's
Merchandise.
called. Yes, that merchandise, right. So we're walking out the door, and I walk past it. I'm like, oh, that's cute. And the next thing I know, I'm actually paying for it. And I had no idea why. I had
Yeah.
no idea why. And I paid $100 for that thing. And I brought it home, and my husband said, what are you doing with that? And I said, I don't know. It just spoke to me.
Mhm.
And so I literally stuck it under the stairs. You know that little space under your stairway where it's just storage? It was there for like
Mhm.
5 years, maybe even more.
Mhm.
But where the story really begins is when I was in my early 20s, because the concept, or the formula, the framework, if you will, was being built back in my 20s.
Mhm.
So that's where the ideas started. And what I recognized, I was 23 when I really started going through this. I was 23 years old. I had just given birth to my third child, if in 3 years. And so I want you to imagine that, like 23, three kids, 3 years. I was really tired, but I was working nights at the time. And
Mhm.
I recognized when number three came along that I couldn't do this anymore, right? I needed a
Yeah.
change. And in order to
Mhm.
do that, I really had to step into, because nobody was coming to save me or fix it for me. I had to do
Yeah.
it. I had to get
Mhm.
there. And so I started thinking, well, I need to do this. I need to step into my brilliance, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. That's where the story started.
Mhm.
I have a bike under the stairs. This is some years later.
Mhm.
Some years later. And then COVID happens. We
Mhm.
all made it through that because we're here talking, right?
Right.
So now we decide we're going to make a home office because we've been sitting at the kitchen table for weeks, right? So
Right.
get rid of the guest room because nobody's coming.
Mhm.
Put my little office together, and I'm still working for corporate, so we're all working virtually, and I've got blank walls, and I'm like, I need something. Oh, where's that bike? And
Yeah.
I almost threw it out several times. Anyways,
Yeah.
here we have the bike. Gets on the wall. Fast forward to the coaching space, which is I was
Mhm.
just in that, just starting that. I hadn't developed full concept yet.
Mhm.
And as I was helping people work through how they show up, how they lead themselves, I'm staring at that bike on the wall, and I recognize that some of the things that I've been doing my entire life could be easily put into this acronym BIKE that will help people stay on track, help them stop
Mhm.
overthink and just get into their present space. So here's how it
Mhm.
goes. The B stands for Be Unapologetically You. Stop filtering
Mhm.
how you show up, like how you think you should show up so that you'll be accepted or liked or all of those
Mhm.
things. Part of the
Mhm.
reason that we all struggle with feeling seen, heard, and valued is that we're filtering how we show up so people only know us in a certain way,
Yeah. Because
right?
we're not being authentic. We
Because we're
have
not being,
something
yeah. And we hear about
in front of
authenticity all
us.
the time. And when I start
Mhm.
talking to my clients about this, a lot of times they'll say, but I don't even know who I am anymore. So we have
Mhm.
some, I have a few tools that we work through to actually start to uncover and unpack all that heaviness that they've absorbed over the years about who they should be. So be
Mhm.
you, be unapologetically you. The I stands for insight. Insight is something that I created because I'm an introvert. And when
Mhm.
I am going to go on stage or I'm going to teach or meet somebody or go into a new space for the very first time, I get it all up in my head. What if they don't
Mhm.
like me? What if I say something stupid? What if
Yeah.
they think my concepts are dumb? Whatever, all the things. We all have those.
Yeah. Yes.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
instead of the spin, this is where you start to use awareness and you get really curious and you say, okay, wait. What if I switch gears, shift gears, and say, what can I learn about you in our little coffee date here? What
Mm-hmm.
will I learn
Yeah.
about myself that I didn't know or was not aware of? And what can I
Yeah.
learn about the world in general? So now you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for insight. What insight can I gain here?
Mm-hmm.
So be unapologetically you. So the K stands for kindness. And it seems so simple. We talk about kindness as if it's if as if it's just something you can throw around. Now, there's a difference between kindness, politeness, manners, and niceties, right? The manners, politeness, and niceties, those are very surface level. When I talk about kindness, I mean something from your soul. Like when you hold the door for somebody and they're like, well, thank you. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Like, you know that thank you is genuine.
Yeah.
So, Emory University did a study on kindness. And it turns out that when you show kindness to another human being, that eye contact, that
Mm-hmm.
smile, that I care for you because you're a human and you matter.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain's pleasure and reward center lights up as if you're the receiver and not the giver. So your brain and body don't know the difference. So
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't we share more kindness, not only
Yeah.
just for others, but are we being kind to ourselves? So
Mm-hmm.
be unapologetically you. Look for insight,
Mm-hmm.
kindness, genuine kindness. And the last one
Yes.
is engage. E stands for engage. You tell me how many times you've been across the table from someone having coffee or dinner or in a meeting and they're scrolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't feel good.
No.
You're not engaged. There's no
No.
engagement there.
Yeah.
So
Even
when we're
sometimes
talking
when the phone is on the table, like even if the phone is upside down and you don't see the screen, but it's on the table, there's, even though it's not said, there's kind of like something where it's like known that, oh, they're waiting for someone, or that someone on that phone is more important than the person across from them, right? Or across
100%.
from you.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So like
So
having no phone around definitely keeps the engagement better, and it's a way better conversation anyways, right?
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And so what I like to tell people is when you're meeting with someone, the first questions you can ask are that will actually set the tone. You brought this forward perfectly. You couldn't have set it up any better for me. So the first question you ask is, what is your drop dead time?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is your cutoff time? Because if
Mm-hmm.
they have scheduled for an hour, honor it. And the way you
Mm-hmm.
can honor it, really honor it, is by saying, great, I'm going to set a timer. Let's say that they have your meeting set for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I've got that on my schedule as well. I'm going to set a timer for 50 minutes, 50.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's going to be that is because you're going to have some wrap up time. So you're going to set your timer and then you're going to put your phone on silent or do not disturb. Your timer
Yeah.
will still go off.
Mm-hmm.
That timer is just a reminder to wrap it up. So you set the timer, put the phone
Mm-hmm.
away,
Mm-hmm.
out of sight on the floor,
Yeah.
exactly what you said,
Yeah.
and be completely present for that 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You will get more connection, more I don't there's just something about the connection that's created and the energy that you
Mm-hmm.
create in that.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about engaging, we're talking about deeper connections and we're starving for connection,
Oh yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Not digital connection,
No.
but personal connection,
Yeah. Real human
you know?
connection. Yeah.
Real human connection. And Brené Brown talks about this. She brings it home for us and
Mm-hmm.
she says, connection is the energy that's created between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. And that's what we all want. We
Mm-hmm.
want to know that we matter, that we make a difference. And when that
Yeah.
you're exactly right. When that phone is on the table,
Mm-hmm.
it something something happens. The connection
Mm-hmm.
isn't quite there. There's always this boundary almost.
Yeah.
that keeps us from really diving deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice it in meetings when
Yeah.
people, for whatever reason, don't turn their ringer off, and they
Mm-hmm.
go and they pick up their phone in the middle of it, even though they're the one speaking. And
Yeah.
they go, "Oh, just a minute." And you can see that they're switching gears, looking at who
Mm-hmm.
it is. And, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to shut this off."
Yeah.
It
Right.
is rude. It
Yeah.
just is, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, and it breaks that engagement and it breaks things up. So even I've
Mhm.
noticed, like, if I'm checking my phone for the time,
Mhm.
that changes the engagement, right? Even if it's just talking to one of my children, or
Yes.
or even in a meeting, or even
Yeah.
anything, right? It breaks
Mhm.
that engagement of what the conversation's about, because you're just checking the time. Where if you did
Right.
that timer, I love that idea,
Yes.
because if you have that timer and your
Mhm.
phone's put away, then then you're engaged and you're in the conversation,
Right.
that you know that the timer is going to go off when it's been time, and you don't have to think about that anymore. You just
100%.
yeah, that's
There
awesome.
is one more piece of this, and it's people with smartwatches, and I wear a smartwatch too.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if your phone is put away and on silent and your watch is still beeping and it still flashes while you're
Mm-hmm.
talking, people
Mm-hmm.
see that flash. They see
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And it does the same thing again. It keeps
Mm-hmm.
that connection just very surface level. And if you want to be a surface level person, by all means, go for it.
Yeah.
But you'll find that you feel isolated,
Mm-hmm.
alone, kind of wondering where you belong and who your
Mm-hmm.
people are if you continue on this path. And
Yeah.
so we utilize this bike that it's a grounding space, and it allows you to really just grab life by the handlebars and just move forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a beautiful metaphor and a simple concept. And so you'll never look at a bicycle the same.
I love it. I love it. So let's recap. So B is for be authentically you, right?
Unapologetically you.
Oh,
Or
unapologetically you.
authentically, you can add whatever you want.
Authentically and unapologetically you. Yeah, because we
Mm-hmm.
all, yeah, I love that. Unapologetically you. I like that. And
Yeah.
then I is for insight,
Mm-hmm. Get
K is for
curious.
kindness, and E
Mm-hmm.
is for engage.
Yes. You got it. You're
Awesome.
ready to ride.
I'm ready to go. I love it. Oh, that is awesome. I think that concept is so great. And I was going to say about the watch, like I had a smartwatch for a while, and it was really hard to work, to be honest. Because I'd
Mm-hmm.
be working, I'd be in a zone, and then I get a text message, and instantly I'm looking. And then,
Yes.
if it's an actual conversation they want to have with the texting, it's just buzz, 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 buzz. And I couldn't concentrate on like the task I had to get finished. So I
100.
ended up, I didn't wear it for very long. I think I ended up actually breaking the screen somehow. And so that I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to wear this.
I
So,
think I'm done with
because I was
this.
doing too much stuff with my hands, and
Yeah.
but it's been, since I have not worn it, it definitely helps me to be in the zone. I kind of
Yes.
like your timer thing. I think I might even try that on some tasks I have to do, because if your phone isn't around you, I think I might get more things done,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right, in a
Well,
quicker
and
time.
part of that being able to silence those things, and you brought up something really, really brilliant. It is even during your work time, because if you're like on an Apple computer,
Hmm.
your stuff's coming up on the screen, even if
Yeah,
your phone's not in the same room.
yeah.
So by being able to silence it or focus it, there are several modes on your phone, and
Hmm.
you can create your own,
Hmm.
right? And set it each
Hmm.
time. But when you are intentional about how you spend your time, you won't feel like you're wasting time or you're not getting anywhere or you haven't accomplished anything.
Yeah.
Because when you spend some intentional focused time, it changes
Hmm.
what you can accomplish. And then think about that self-talk, right? Now
Hmm.
you feel good, you feel better. And so when you're with those people that you want to connect with, the interactions are so much deeper. So now everything that you're doing is with intention.
Hmm.
So when
Yeah.
you're able to do that, the overthinking, the perfectionism, and the people pleasing, starts to subside just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because you're being intentional with who you are, how you show up, and how you spend your time.
Yeah, I love that. I think that also helps a lot with just being present in the moment, because I think a lot of times our phones make us anxious, or like, we're waiting for this, or waiting for someone to respond, or whatever it is. So I love
Mm-hmm.
that all of those things kind of lead to also just being present.
Yes,
Right.
it's been a life changer for me, and my clients love it. They'll send me a text message and say, "I rode my bike today,
I
all
love it.
day, all day."
Well, I'm never going to think about a bike the same again. So thank you so much for being on the show today. Tell people where they can go to find you, where they can go to hire you as a coach, or get more information.
You can visit me on social media at Hey Tonya K. I'm on Instagram there, or you can visit my website and at tonyak.co, C-O.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some free resources there. I also, when I am guesting on a podcast, I love to extend a one-on-one session to your audience where
Mm-hmm.
if they want to walk through the bike concept, or if they want to learn how to utilize the self-coaching tool that I teach, I am happy to walk through that. And they just need to let me know when they book their consult where they heard me from, and
Mm-hmm.
so that I can honor that. And I love meeting new people that way. Those are the best meetups, is when I
Mm-hmm.
get to sit on the screen with someone, or even in person here in Boise, Idaho, and just help someone get to that next little space that they're going to excel in.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Again, we'll put the link in the show notes, but just go to tonyakay.com. That's TONYAKAY.com, or .co. .co.
Dot co.
.co. We'll make sure the link's in the show notes. And thank you so much again, Tonya, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast. It's a great way to start the day.
Yeah, it's awesome. I hope you all love the podcast today. Please share it with someone who you know will benefit. And of course, subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Elite Expert Insider Podcast.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.